And what's up once again to my skeleton crew, the All-Star Fandom skeleton crew. What's up, everybody? We are back with another review for Skeleton Crew episode 6. Just wrapped up a few minutes ago. I'm Dion. This is Doc. Jen's down there. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into this one. Doc, give us that synopsis of what we just watched.
All right. Happy New Year's to y'all.
Happy New Year.
Look, bringing this thing in hot with episode 6 of the Skeleton Crew titled Zero Friends Again. Our adventurers, KB, Neil, and Fern, just barely escapes Jai's betrayal. They pick up on them and Lanupa's trash heap, where they actually separate, trying to get back to the ship. And KB and William go through their adventure following the trash crabs, and KB actually ends up having a little trouble, and then Neil and Fern end up running into a little bit of trouble themselves when they have to jump on the ship so they can steal their original ship back. And they separated for a while, then they ended up coming back together right before KB and William ends up getting eaten by a giant trash crab. And on the other side, Jai is actually captured by his old crew. And Brutus, who was his first mate, has sentenced him to death. And right before they sentence him to death, they allow him to give a speech where he tells them he knows the coordinates to Aden, and they can go and plunder. And we'll pick it up from there.
All right. So this was one of those classic episodes that team splits up. Team has an argument. Team splits up, team finds each other apart, and then come together in the end. Very classic on the way this stuff sort of works. Jen, I'm going to toss it over to you for that first part. We start off with them falling down the chute, and then we get into a bit of an argument where KB pretty much tells Vern, like, hey, you don't listen. This whole part for this first act one, give me some insights into that. What did you think about it? And did it sort of end up finishing up how you wanted it, I guess?
I think what I'm enjoying about this show for me personally is I know certain events are going to happen, but then I don't know when they're going to happen. So I knew that they were going to get back on the ship. I just didn't know the way they would do it and if it would have been in this episode. So the fact that they actually took back their ship and they actually, to your point you just made, they actually came together and worked as a team, doing all the different parts of flying a ship and getting it out and thinking on your feet. They executed really good teamwork, because I said in episode 1 that even though each character is so different, they gel really well together. And I'm so happy we got to see that without any babysitters around.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think with each episode, what I'm enjoying is these kids are realizing what the real world is like and the demands of the real world. And now they are forced to be in these genuine moments. So KB, frustrated with her best friend because she feels she has to please her best friend to do all the things that her best friend expects her to do. And because she had an accident and she is now living in this new life with the tech that keeps her alive, she can't. And that puts a strain on her. And she feels that because of the way Fern is, she doesn't see that, which I would agree. But because Neil pointed out, it's like, not everyone can do the same thing you can do.
Or Neil has been the beacon of common sense.
Every turn.
Do not mess with a single hair on that boy's head. Do not mess. So, yeah, I mean, we're starting to see the strain of where even with Whim, he's like still doing things on a whim. But then even he's like, why is it every time I try to do something good, I never know who the real good guy is?
He's very trusting
with himself at that moment.
Like, yeah, he's very trusting. He does things on a whim. He's very emotional reactive. Like he just does things like literally on a whim. It's all emotional impulse. So because the other thing too with whim, similar to Fern to a degree, is they both don't really listen either. So now he's in a situation where he was like, dang, I should have listened.
Yeah.
Because now we're about to be eaten by this gigantic garbage crab.
Mhm.
Which I had Moana in my head. I'm like, please say that you're shiny. Just say that
Shiny.
you're shiny.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Just someone make a shiny reference, please, because that's the first thought I thought when this dude came out of the hills. Like, oh, what up, dude?
So Doc,
yeah.
oh, Jen, go ahead.
No, that was basically it for me.
So Doc, I'll throw it to you. Your initial reaction from this one, because, and I'm going to go last because I have a thought again. But your initial reactions to this entire episode, and then we'll chop it up as we go through this review.
Okay. My initial reaction was, Jod did exactly what I thought he was gonna do. Covered up out of that hole with all the gold around his neck, as much as he can put in his pockets and put wrists and look, just coming up like, hey, it's more gold down there. If y'all want some of that, they was like, nah, Playboy, come on, go with us.
Urkel lives.
Urkel lives, exactly.
Here's the crazy thing about this: everybody is a pirate, and they didn't give a damn about the gold. That goes to show you they really don't care. They really want your man Silvo out of there.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. He had multiple names. He screwed over multiple people, multiple crews. Like it comes to a point where it's just like that money is bigger than that now. It's like Big Worm from Friday. It's the principles. It's the principalities.
Yeah, it's the principle of the thing.
It is the principle of the thing.
I'm just saying, when he came up with all the drip on, you would have thought the pirates have been like, okay, it might be something down there.
Let's head down there and get it.
But yeah, but they was like, no, take the gold off, come with us. Brutus need to holler at you.
Yeah, and
so
the way, yeah.
Go ahead, get to that. And so now I'm understanding why everybody can't find Adden for sure, because of the previous pirate who sent his ship there or ended up going there, crashing and whatnot.
Well,
and there's a song about him.
Redden.
A shanty. There's a shanty.
Yeah, there's a shanty about him that all the pirates know, and they start singing this, and you're like, oh, and that.
And one of them was like, so it's real?
Yeah, to your point from last week before we ended about what if Captain Reynard is the
supervisor,
supervisor of Adden. But we get back to that. Going back to this initial reaction, I like the fact that they gave these children some type of, like, they've been struggling a little bit, but gave them a internal struggle to where they have to realize, Fern is not right. You're not right. You're not right all the time, but we have to work together as a team to get up out of here. I like the fact that they gave them a little internal struggle. I like the fact that they made Wim kind of realize that he need to chill out on picking people.
or just have a little doubt, like, okay, I'm not gonna throw all my eggs into this basket.
I mean, even when Neil was standing there getting antsy with the trash crabs, like, I don't think we should follow these trash crabs. Maybe we need to go with Fern and climb the mountain.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little. Yeah, sometimes we need to listen to your friends. But then for them to come back together, work as a team, and actually get out of the clutches of the large garbage disposal that was coming to get them. I just really enjoyed the episode from the beginning to the end. And the fact that my homeboy Neil is flying this thing, like he remember how to fly it, I was like, okay, Neil might be a little pilot. And then on top of that, just a little side note, when KB called my boy Wim a Jedi, that kind of warmed my heart.
Yeah. That did. Oh my gosh.
My heart a little bit.
But he kind of stood up a little straighter.
Even I know, right? You sort of like, all right, what's here? My sort of initial takeaway from this episode is that this is episode 6. I thought it was going to be like a filler episode, a bit of a filler. I know we only got 8 episodes, but I felt like this was going to be a filler to the big ones at 7 and 8. But it had more meaning because we saw all the kids come together. They've grown up in 6 episodes so much.
Yeah.
When they got on that ship, KB was like, "Hey, I remember watching SM33 and Jai do it. She pressed some buttons, she popping everything. Who's gonna fly the ship? Neil. Go ahead and get in that. What our boy William go get in? Went and got in the gunner seat.
Yeah.
Got in the, like to see them like come together, complete 180 from that those first two episodes where William was like, why am I not the captain? You know, like why he gets to drive the ship? Yeah, like Neil gets to drive. No, everybody knew their place. Everybody was they were supportive. And on top of that, where they pressed that button that SM33 said that they never ever should press. It was like Will Smith and it was like Will Smith and Men in Black. Don't ever press that button, man. But they pressed it. New ship, whole new ship. Oh my goodness.
Who would have thought a ship could shed some skin?
I know. I don't know.
I was like, I'm watching. I'm like, is it? No, it's shedding.
That was a great moment.
The only thing I can think of with that is like it was battle ready. It's a pirate ship.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and mod it out so it's battle ready for everything that we gotta go do.
That's actually a really good decoy tactic to make it look like it's a different kind of ship, and then in the heat of a situation like that, you hit that button and it's like surprise.
Yeah, and I'm out of here.
And from looking from the back of it, it kind of looks like an X-wing. You looking
from
the back as it's flying away.
When we go to that part too, they actually find out or discover that the X-Wings are the good guys.
Good guys, yes.
Like everything they've known with Jod has been, and we'll talk about him in a second, because again, I was very hopeful that he'd come around, but y'all said it last week. He's gonna come out there, he's gonna say, "Hey, I got this gold over here, unlimited." This man basically said that, "Hey, you want that farm? You want it? That land you want it?
Buy yourself
think about this. Think
like,
about
it. At the heartstrings.
Told old girl, you can go have.
My man was like, "That'll be
ships." Not just
I know, right? Like just selling dreams, man, selling dreams." So, with that being said about Jod in this episode, I know it's episode 6, and we got 2 more after this. I don't see any redemption for him anymore. What say you, Jen? Any redemption arc for Jod, because he left kids to die and he was gonna let SM33 rip off limbs. So
I mean, it's hard to say because I have a feeling that we're gonna see them come back together, because his character when it comes to kids has not really been tested yet, where he really had to make a choice between really the kids and them. I mean, we've seen him do that before where he goes back for the kids, but the stakes weren't that high, if that makes sense. So there's a possibility that he won't, because, you know, he came out with the treasure all jacked up and bougied out, coming out of the ground. He's laughing like he had hit a big score, and he's thinking about the next score. He's the captain again. I mean, that's one of Captain Jack's narratives. He just wants to get the pearl back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's hard to say that if we're going to get a redemption with him. But again, like I said last week, if that does happen with this character, if that's what's planned for him, I'm not going to be surprised, because that's what Star Wars does. It's all about redemption arcs. We see it all the time.
I'll be surprised.
Doc, what do you say, man?
I would be surprised if there's some type of character redemption for him. For the simple fact, like Dion literally just said, he left them babies to die. He came up out of that hole with that goal, like, where's my ship? I need to get up out of here. Or I need to go back down here and try to plunder as much as this, bring as much of this up as I can, put it on the ship, and then go to Aden. Because he got SM33 now. But now Brutus and his team got SM33. And SM33 knows the coordinates to Aden.
Well, now KB also knows those coordinates now too.
So this is going to be real interesting. Like we were saying before, I think it's going to be a bit of a war coming towards Aden. And I'm like we talked about this. I don't think they have a barrier and gas that's hiding at Aden. But if they don't have any, weapons to fight off pirates and other people, it's going to be a problem. Now, if somehow KB can remember how to contact Kim and she sent a army to protect them or something like that. That's the only way I can see them getting out of a situation. But man, the people at Aden, they got a fight coming towards them, and they don't even know it.
I mean, we saw the X-Wings again, so it could be a foreshadowing of the X-Wings going to Aten because the kids do call Kim for help because Kim says, call me anytime if you need me.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have that option.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about them reaching back out to Kim.
They still can.
With this, yeah, because Kim made it very known, hey, you need me, call me. And KB took that full-hearted right to the chest.
Yeah, and she also made it known that your man was not a good dude. Like out the gate.
Everybody did.
Everybody.
The big dude in the swamp was like, he don't smell like a good person. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Just the idea of like every person you come in contact with, they say stay away from this man.
Now, I said I don't see a redemption coming, but I just had this thought. Because he does have that lightsaber and he has some type of force within him, right? Now, if he pulled this off like on the last episode, them kids getting ready to get lit up by the pirates, and then he come out of nowhere with that lightsaber cutting off arms and slicing people up, I'd be like, oh snap, Jedi was a Jedi the whole time.
I don't think okay, are we gonna get into that now? Should we jump into that part? You rolled the grenade in the room, so let's go ahead
and listen, that lightsaber, oh my goodness. So here's the thing, there's a possibility he could be trained because lightsabers, especially with kyber crystals, they're very unique to the user, and because that's an old Republic lightsaber, the Jedi in that time were much more powerful in that time, and the way that they use the Force in terms of using the crystals and making the lightsabers is different than what we see in the Skywalker saga, because that's how much the Jedi have changed since the glory days. So that lightsaber is such an interesting detail just because of the uniqueness of it, the requirements of the Force, the fact that he did turn it on as well as Whim because of the Force capabilities and the type of training you need for that kind of lightsaber, whoever it belonged to. I mean, it's very, very possible because there are Jedi that left the temple that became pirates and smugglers and mercenaries, and they used their Force abilities in those trades. So that could be Jod.
I just had another thought.
Ooh.
What if Captain Reynard can use the Force as well?
I mean,
because he did have the lightsaber, and the lightsaber wasn't like just thrown in the corner like a piece of trash. It was actually on a mantelpiece where he could probably get to it if he needed to.
Oh, that would be so interesting. That would be so interesting because that symbol is actually in the High Republic is derived from a Nihil symbol, which is one of the enemies that the Jedi fight and have battles with. So there's probably some ties to the Nihil, and some other branches of that before it became known as the Nihil.
Man.
So with 2 episodes, okay, so we get Jod and obviously Steve, Urkel, Jaleel White, Stefan.
He's alive. He's still with us.
Is still alive. He made it again. We talked about this last week. It was like a death we didn't see, right?
Yep.
It's
always
true.
Assume that they lived.
Waiting for him when he came out that hole.
I know, right? He was like, "Oh, this is where he's gonna be. I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here.
We ain't moving. Pitch the tents."
I'm like, yeah, we'll be right here waiting for it. So we see Brutus. How do you all think this is going to go? This is again just how we started out the very first episode with Jod promising this major score. Now we know at Aden is a mint, and we know endless money supply is there. Mm-hmm. They're pirates. you always want to say there's honor among thieves, but there really never is. What do you think the pirates who've been, jobbed out by him so many times, when they get to Aden, I don't think they cut Jod into anything either. So what would be their play for these last 2 episodes? To take all of Aden, possibly?
Well, first of all, they got to deal with the legendary pirate that's already there. I think the guy's still alive. I don't think he's dead.
I think he's a supervisor. Yeah.
And him being a legendary pirate, I think he probably got some type of defenses set up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
he has all those
basically
droids. He has all those droids. That is easily a droid army.
Yeah.
Along with the barrier.
And it's not going to be as easy as Jai think it is, because Neil keeps telling them how peaceful Aden is, and we all nice and we don't have no wars.
Well, we don't know where the mill is. Where's the mill?
Yeah, and they don't know where the
because we're only looking at we're only looking at one section of the planet. This is a big planet. We've only
you're right. Yeah.
We've only seen one area of it. We don't know what the rest of the planet looks like.
It's not going to be as easy as they think it is.
No.
I mean, okay. Because now I'm trying to think, like, we're going back to William's neck of the woods, essentially, the Skeleton Crew's neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm. Where they found the ship.
Is that the main base sort of thing? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, that's the main spot. That's the capital. Because every other place looked like that. The last planet, Rogue Girl kissed Neil and flipped away. Like that one. That one.
Harcorn, after she gave a kiss, because she's happy about it, she's like, "Wee!
Yeah,
I kissed the boy,
right.
and I liked it."
Might be right.
Because I think that would be like the main. I don't know, but I could be wrong.
Well, no. Here's the thing: because if our suspicion it turns out to be true, that this infamous pirate is the supervisor, and he came to this planet and discovered its wealth, and that the fact that it's a mint. The dude hid the mint. The mint is not going to be in the same place where he found it. He's going to put it somewhere else in a secure area so people can't get to it.
But I don't think y'all really following the plot. Like, not only that, he killed his entire crew except for SM-33.
Well, he was shut off. He was assumed dead, I suppose, but
he killed his SM-33 to kill everybody who might have even blinked at the coordinates.
Yes.
Then he killed his whole crew that was on the ship with him. We assume they died in the crash. I think he killed all of them.
Well, remember the knife that Jai took out of one of the skeletons? That dude was standing up against the wall. He was pinned in a wall.
Mm-hmm.
His man, Tack Redden is the name. He walked through all of them, apparently.
Yeah.
And has set up a fortress for himself. I got a feeling all the droids are just going to go red when it's time to battle. I am, oh boy, because now I can't get 2 things out of my head. One, like him being ahead of the fortress or being over everything, but also like just Scrooge McDuck in this stuff too, man. You know what I mean? Like just swimming in credits. You know what I mean? spin them out like water.
My gosh.
Oh, that's wild.
He's been doing it for years, man. But
see him swan dive in the goals.
Yeah.
I know his little striped bathing suit. Just jumping in. But so with that, we know the crew's on the way, so we're gearing up for a pretty big battle at
yeah.
We got
something.
William and the whole crew coming. We got pirates behind them coming. We probably have X-Wings on their tails too to come and help out. Aden is out here like Themyscira and Wakanda, man. It's just
bro.
It's just off the coordinates. But I feel like you said, Doc, that it would be ready for a battle because this man's a pirate. He's known. Come on, man. You don't forget your ways that easy. You don't stop your ways that easy, right?
He's a legendary pirate that all pirates know about. You know what
I'm saying? They got those sea shanties about it, man. So
that's what I'm come on, man.
So to round this one out, 2 episodes left. 2 episodes left. Again, predictions. I know we've gone through a little bit of it, but predictions
Oh
for
man.
these next 2 episodes, and then we'll run the tape back on these if we were right.
Oh gosh. Oh man. So yeah, so it looks like we're definitely gonna have something with the pirates over at Atten. And we have to get the identity of the supervisor. We have to talk about that man behind the curtain. We cannot ignore him anymore. So I'm sure we're going to get that reveal. If we don't get that reveal, I will be
upset a little bit.
I don't know if upset is the right word, but my neighbors will know I'm watching Star Wars because I will definitely be yelling at the TV again.
Well,
I
especially
have to calm
given
myself down too.
yeah,
Yep.
especially given how like the Acolyte sort of did a teaser for the next season. I think at this point for Star Wars shows, you gotta
God,
deliver on those endings to be like,
Legend.
Got to.
this is the
Why?
guy. Like, because my thoughts is like, do you cliffhang it for season 2? Do you discover like last shot? You discover like he's still alive in here, and then we go black, blue letters come up, and then we on to season 2.
Well,
Everybody flip their TV over.
Oh yeah, I'm just punching everything.
well, you
Like-
also have to remember we're building up to the Star Wars version of Avengers, the Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I could see that if they do that, especially since the show has been so successful, that they could probably do some setup that's going to be leading to that. Because to get to that point, you do have to do a lot of building with different shows and different characters and how they might play into it. So there is that. This could be a standalone season where they end it. But then they could leave it open for a season 2.
I think this season is doing so well. I don't think it's just going to be one season. I think they'll try to shoot for multiple seasons. But if that's the case, then they can't make it back to Adden in the next 2 episodes. If that makes sense.
They have to. We got to get back.
They've been setting it up.
I'm saying, like, if they're going to make it a second season, they can't make it right back in the next 2 episodes. Does that make sense? I think they have to kind of drag it along a little bit if they want seasons. Now, if they're going to make another something after this season and tie this all together, like we were talking about last week, maybe we might get the Acolyte back. If enough people speak up about it, we might get the Acolyte back, and then they tie it all together. That would be awesome. You know what I'm saying? But
well, one of the questions I've been asking people as I talk to other people in other spaces, because we were supposed to get this show first before Acolyte. This was supposed to come out before Acolyte because of the ideas and the plans that they were doing for both shows, but because of the strikes, the Bob 1, Bob 2, so many different things, and just how it got shuffled around. I think at one point this was actually supposed to be a movie, and they changed their mind and said, no, we're going to turn it into a show, and that's what they did. And that they divided it up really well into an episodic streaming series, which is what we're getting now. So one of the questions I've been asking people is, for the ones that don't like the Acolyte, I said, well, now knowing the information we know, do you think that this would have made a difference if this would have come out first and the Acolyte came out afterward? And I get mixed answers. Some people still think, no, the Acolyte would have just been what it was and it would have sucked. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And other people are like, well, I don't know. That's an interesting thought. I'm not really sure. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Man, I mean, I hope they don't leave it on cliffhanger. What I see. This is what I see.
Oh, this is what you see? Okay, let the people know what you see.
Okay, they are in the battle, and everybody is fighting, and you got the lasers going off over here, and they going off over there, and then Jedi closes his eyes, and he reaches out, and the lightsaber comes into his hand, and he turns it on, and then he starts cutting people, and then you see little Will over there getting caught up, and then he throw the lightsaber to William, and William catch the lightsaber and cut somebody's leg, and then they run away, and then it's gonna go black.
Dude! Oh my gosh! If
I'm telling you,
when
that's what I see.
catches
I'm
the
thinking they're gonna
lightsaber and
leave that
uses
thing
it,
on a black.
oh my god!
Hey,
Yeah, well, sorry about that. They're popping fireworks, and he's scared, so
Same
he
here.
was underneath my desk
Oh.
shaking.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, so I just picked him up.
But that might be an epic battle scene.
I mean, I don't know if we get it this year, man.
No, we're not.
That's what I'm saying. They can't make it back to Ad if they're gonna have a season 2.
They have to. It's been
I
all
don't-
leading back to Ad into this
I
season.
think, I mean, it's going to be interesting because if we do get a season 2 and we end at Atten, where are they going to end the story?
Where's the other adventure gonna go?
So, like, my question will be like, well, what's going to be at the end of the credits?
That's a good.
Oh, did we get? Okay, does this link back to
It
our
could
typical
link-
sort of Star Wars?
It could.
Do we want a quick question too? Do we want that to, or does it need to be like this sort of separate adventure, Jen?
I honestly could go either way because knowing that they are building to, like I said before, a Star Wars version of Infinity War, if you will, like multiverse, whatever. It would be interesting if they did do that as far as what they're planning with these characters and how they can be involved, or they could just end it where it is and it's just that story.
Yeah,
it could just be a standalone. Because I can't. Well, I can't say. What I was going to say is I can't foresee them, doing a big drop that would be a big nod to season 2 because we got that in the Acolyte with Darth Plagueis the Wise. Which when I saw that, I was like, "You have got to be freaking."
We also saw Yoda at the end of the Acolyte too.
Oh man, just my heart burst. But then it's like, Yoda, you're supposed to be the wisest one of them all. Come on, man. But then when you look at Yoda's history and story, there that's a whole conversation. So it could honestly, my answer is it could go either way, and it's going to be interesting to see how this lands because I'm not sure how we're going to land it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The show is so good, man.
So with 2 more episodes coming up, really good times, and we've started doing this sort of like after the show reactions. So last week we started this, and we may have just gone out and didn't let Jen get her gems in because she comes back the next day and she has so much. So I'm gonna cue us up for a little segment we have in the shows now called Jen's Gems.
Thank you for that. Oh, I still have my sick voice. I can't laugh the way I laugh.
What did we miss from episode 5 of last week? Any good things to tell us?
So a couple of interesting things, and I mentioned one of them before, is the symbol we saw last week is actually derived from the Nihil. So there's probably ties to the Nihil with this pirate, the treasure trove, especially since we got that High Republic lightsaber. So I found that interesting. The writing in the stone when they were walking around outside before they get into that area, that was actually in the language before the Arobesh language comes into play in the Star Wars universe. So that's an older language from the Old Republic. Some people think that it's actually Sith related. I have to do a bit more research on that just to fact check it, because if that is more Sith related, that leads me to so many more questions.
Yeah.
So was this a Sith temple, and And because there is in Legends, there is a battle between pirates and and the Sith. There is a battle that happens. So if that's true, are there ties to that? And did the Jedi, excuse me, did the pirates, basically overrun this place and took over a Sith temple? That would be fascinating. So that's what really stuck out to me. And then the other thing too, like I said earlier with the lightsaber, the fact that Wim and Jod can both hold and turn that thing on is just so fascinating to me, just because of how Jedi were with using the Force and how they built lightsabers and their relationship to kyber crystals in the High Republic versus in the Skywalker saga. So it's just all those little interesting things where I'm like, I want to get into more of the lore of the lightsaber.
Yeah, because I did have a question about that, because you said a few times about like Will being able to
turn it
like,
on.
just turn it on. Is that a huge feat for any person other than a Jedi?
In my own opinion and estimation, yes, because if you are not someone that is trained, you're not even going to know what button to push on a lightsaber.
Or if it's the right side up too.
Yeah.
You kind of can tell that, but no, you would still question it if you're not a Force sensitive user. If you've never seen a lightsaber before, you're not going to be sure what side is the right side. So the fact that he turned it on, that he knew how to turn it on, I was very fascinated by that. And then one of my weird things about me is I love when someone turns on a lightsaber and you hear that initiating sound, that unique crackle. Yeah. That had a crackle, like its own unique crackle you never heard before. And it's just like, oh, listen to you hum. Oh, I hear the maturity in you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, it's to me, that is very, very interesting. So I'm wondering if, to what Doc said before, will this kid get the lightsaber and actually use it?
I don't know.
I'm thinking yes.
Because he's been reading all these stories, right? So, I mean,
censored stories, but yes.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Censored stories.
I think this little fella has been training to be a Jedi since, his mom was reading him bedtime stories.
Oh.
Which I guess we'll expand on that, or when we get back with his dad and figure that stuff out, or do whatever. But Jen, any other gems from last week that we...
the other thing I've been thinking about is that I found it really interesting that the banking clan, the entire banking clan, was on this planet, and it is known. It is known that this was a pirate trove. So that makes me wonder, well, what's happening where the entire banking clan is on this planet at the same time where there's treasure. So that was just another tidbit I found really interesting, because I'm wondering what's going to happen, or if they're trying to set up something to what we were talking about before. And then there's something else I have to fact check, because I think there's something that something that KB says in the episode. I have to go back and watch it. That is another like clue to something. So I will find out, because I have to double check.
Well, Jen, that was our first official segment of Jen's Gems. But yeah, so like I said, 2 more episodes left in this run for Skeleton Crew. Before we head out here, any final things from this episode that we may have been hit on, but just real quick jabs? Anything else, Doc? Anything else you got?
Man, not really. I just really enjoyed the episode, like I said, and I really enjoyed the fact that they let them have an argument. They let them breathe, then they let them come back together. I appreciated them writing that part into the whole show.
They're an actual crew now.
Like we all said, man, the coolest thing in this episode was when that ship separated from the hull, and I was like, "Oh, you have got to be kidding me! This dude thought of everything when he
Yep.
made the ship."
Which makes you think that he's thought about everything when it comes to defending them.
Yeah.
I mean, if this pirate lord is so infamous as he is, he's kind of like a Palpatine. He's gonna think of all these different scenarios. Well, if this goes wrong, what would happen? What would I need to set up? What would I have to have in place? If something like this happens, what would I do in this situation? You know, if you're gonna have that kind of legend and reputation, you gotta kind of have the smarts for it too.
Mm-hmm. So that was our man. We got two more of these, y'all. So that was our review and reaction to episode 6 of the Skeleton Crew. We'll be back doing the same thing next week for episode 7, and I think we're gonna do a watch along for the finale, and then roll right into this review too. So if you're watching or watching on the replay, thanks for making it through. Thanks for the views. Definitely would love for you to like our stuff, like, share, subscribe, do all the social media stuff. Gets us in the algorithm, and would love for you guys to watch along with us. Jen, let the people know again where they can find more Jen's gems on your socials.
Can find all of the gems that I am so willing to share. I am on Instagram and TikTok at Nerdiqua, and then I also have my podcast at rocking_your_bald. I'm on that new Blue Sky app at Nerdiqua, so I'm on there too. I'm still figuring out how to use it. But yeah, that's me.
And Doc, I'll let you close us out, but I will say again, thanks for everybody who's watched up to this point, and we got 2 more episodes to cover.
Thank you so much.
Definitely love the views for it. Please consider subscribing as well. About 91% of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. A big number. So let's sort of come on over. Let's have some fun, man.
It don't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you a single thing to.
It's free.
To like, share, subscribe, and just know when we're here nerding out and being nerdy, because that's what we do.
Yeah, it's free too. But Doc, let people know where else they can find us, man.
Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on here, YouTube, All Star Fandom Show. Y'all like, follow, share, and subscribe. Comment. I promise you we talk back. And it's been myself, Doc. It's been Jen down at the bottom, and Dion, and we out this thing.